Hey, what is up guys? This is Josh the Gamer here coming at you with a brand new video. So today we're going to be continuing on our Quorum game programming tutorial series, and in this tutorial we are going to be learning about getting mouse input from the user using event handling. Now there are 3 different listeners for mice input. There is the normal mouse listener, which is for clicks and stuff. There's the mouse movement listener, so that listener will pretty much detect or listen for when you move your mouse around on the screen. And then there's a mouse wheel event, or a mouse wheel listener, that will pretty much listen for if you're scrolling your mouse wheel or scrolling using your trackpad. So we are going to be learning how to use all 3 of these. Alright, so what we want to do is we're going to actually use all 3 of these at once. You know, just so you guys know exactly how to use them. So first off, we need to import some things. So let's import mouse listener, mouse movement listener, and mouse wheel listener. So use libraries.interface.events.mouse listener. Use libraries.interface.events.mouse movement listener. Use libraries.interface.events.mouse wheel listener, and then we also need to import mouse event. So libraries.interface.events.mouse event. Alright, so now that we have those imported, we need to extend or inherit from the 3 listeners. So, mouse listener, mouse movement listener, and mouse wheel listener. Alright. So now that we have that out of the way, what we need to do is we need to pretty much we now need to implement the methods from mouse listener, mouse movement listener, and mouse wheel listener. So let's go to mouse listener first. As you can see, we have a clicked mouse and released mouse. Those are the first things we need. So I'm going to go ahead and copy these because I'm lazy. And we're just going to say mouse listener actions, just to comment that so we know exactly what methods correspond to what class. Alright, now we need to get the released mouse action as well. Alright, now we need to do the mouse movement listener actions. Close mouse listener.quorum, go to mouse movement listener, and for some reason we can't inherit, or we can't go into the class itself, which is actually very odd. Let's try doing it here. Okay, there we go. Now it works. There's mouse movement listener, and we have moved mouse and dragged mouse. These are the actions that we need for this. So copy that, paste it in there. And then now we need to copy the dragged mouse action. And then now we need the mouse wheel listener actions. So let's go to mouse wheel listener. Now as you can see, the only action that's in this class is scrolled mouse. Alright, so copy that. And then we are going to paste it in. So that's how you do that. Now we are going to do we're gonna work with the mouse, with the normal mouse listener right now. So what do we want to do when we click the mouse? So if event and then so we pretty much, what we want to do is we want to pretty much, what do we want to do when the mouse is clicked? Well, let's say output event get X and then get Y. So we're going to concatenate a comma and then event get Y. So then we can actually see what the coordinates are that that it actually occurred at. Now we can do output event get X, and then we're going to concatenate another comma onto that, and event colon get Y. Now the released mouse will get the what we have it doing right now is we have it displaying the X and Y coordinates of where we let go of the mouse. So we're going to save that and run it. Actually, wait, no, we don't want to run it at the moment, specifically because we haven't added the mouse listener yet. I always do that. Okay. Inside of our create game action, go ahead and call the add mouse listener, and then we need to do a me. Alright. So now we can go ahead, save it, build it, run it, and it should work as expected. So if we look down at the console, we can see that it outputted what the coordinate was for when I clicked it and when I released it. So there you go. As you can see, I clicked it at 1:55:45. I'm gonna go all the way over here, and I released it at 5:2. So it outputted those coordinates. Very cool, and that's kind of how you do that. These are very useful for, say, if you want to move, like if you want to, it's kind of like a click to move type deal. You can kind of do that type of thing. So that's how that works. Now we're gonna do the moved mouse and dragged mouse. What we want to do in here is very basic. We're just going to do output mouse has been moved. And then for drag, we want to do output you are dragging the mouse. Alright, so now that we have that, we can go ahead and call the add mouse movement listener. We can do me in there as well. So save that, build it, run it. And then as you can see, in the console, it's printing that the mouse is moving because it's detecting that the mouse is being moved within the game screen. So, you know, as the game's running, it's detecting a mouse movement, which is very cool. And then now, I believe yes, see, there it goes. It says, you are dragging the mouse. So, whenever I'm dragging it, it'll do that. And since I'm moving it, it also outputs you are moving the mouse as well. Or mouse is being moved. You know, that kind of thing. So, it's really, really cool. Really, really neat. Yeah. So that's the mouse movement listener. Now we move on to the mouse wheel listener. Now the way we're going to want to do that is we need to go down to our scrolled mouse method or action, whatever you want to call it. We're going to declare an integer called amount. So integer, not integer, integer amount, and we're going to set that equal to event colon scroll amount. Event scroll amount, which is also an integer. And then we now need to, what we're going to do is we are going to pretty much do a if amount is less than 0, which if the amount is less, if the scroll amount is less than 0, that means you're scrolling downwards. So if the amount is less than 0, we want to output you are scrolling down. And then what is this? Amount. If I would spell it right, that would help. And then we're gonna do an else if amount is greater than 0. So if you are doing a scroll amount greater than 0, that means you're scrolling up or to the right. Less than 0 is down or towards the left. So we want to do an output. You are scrolling up or toward the right. Alright, so let's go ahead and save that. Now we need to add the mouse wheel listener. So do an add mouse wheel listener, pass me as the parameter. Now go ahead and save it, build it, run it. And as you can see now, it still is detecting mouse movements and stuff. You know, like it always is. And now, since we're scrolling, it's detecting it. However, now I'm scrolling down. It says toward. Oh, okay. So. Yeah, it's now detecting that I'm scrolling down, and you know, all that cool jazz.
So it's pretty cool, that it's doing that. So yeah, that's pretty much
How you get the mouse input from the user using event handling. Um, it's actually a pretty simple concept to understand, really. Um, However, if you don't quite understand it, I will also leave a link in the description to the documentation in the reference section of the Quorum website, so you guys can look at some of their sample code, so you can try to understand it a little bit better that way. Yeah, that pretty much does it for this tutorial, guys. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you all in the next tutorial where we will be doing collision detection. It's gonna be fun.